Today is November 23rd, and Thanksgiving is coming up in, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or whatever. And then after that, we have the holidays and the new year, and then we start another year, 2026. So this year is coming to an end, pretty much. Um, how was your week?
Thought you were going to ask me how was my year, and I am not prepared to answer that. That actually
Well,
gave me a
well,
little
the,
bit of a adrenaline spike. Like, oh my God, what did I do? What happened this year?
no, no, no,
Was it nothing?
we're not.
Okay.
We're we're gearing up to get to that in a few weeks or a month or so.
Even
So
that
we
is
have to
scary.
prepare ourselves. Yeah, it is scary. But for right now, it's just, how was your
Okay.
week?
It's like mentioning that tax season is coming up. It just,
Yeah.
same thing. Okay. Cool. This week was pretty good. I didn't watch, well, I did what I committed to last week of not watching YouTube, and I hope that you did too, because I wanted to talk about that. It
Mhm.
was pretty transformative, might be not quite the right word here, but I felt a very significant difference in just myself and this whole week not watching YouTube. With the exceptions I laid out last time, which was I committed to not using the YouTube interface and scrolling and clicking through videos and stuff. I was only allowed to consume the YouTube that came through my RSS feed. Uh, so specific channels that I had subscribed to, if they published a new video, then I can watch it. But if not, no YouTube. So I did that and I loved it. I'm thrilled about it, and I am going to commit to doing that next week and probably try and build into something longer term because it was really wonderful. And I
Good.
had my YouTube block thing shut off for the weekend. My intention was to have it block YouTube during the week, and so I can only watch what I'm subscribed to with RSS. And then on the weekends, I can kind of do whatever. So that was yesterday and today. And it just felt kind of gross again. It was like getting hit with a feeling that I didn't realize was gross, or I mean I did, but didn't feel it viscerally. But today I was playing some games, and in the background I had some talking head YouTube video going. Like I'm playing games, like half listening, half not, and I'm just like, this is gross. I don't like this. I'm not going to do this anymore, I don't think. So anyway, that was my thing there. But anyway, I want to talk more about that, but I also want to hear kind of where you're at this week.
Well, I also stopped pretty much watching YouTube because that was my thing too, is to sort of back away from YouTube. And I instead replaced it with Instagram.
Hmm,
So not so much watching Instagram, it's more just complete vanity watching my own account on Instagram because as and it's not like any of this has been out of like willpower or discipline, to be able to say no to YouTube. It's that my YouTube channel stopped, the views died off or whatever, and so
yeah.
it just kind of, you know, all the attention came to a close. But then my Instagram has been popping off, for me at least. Like I've doubled my followers, and it's just, every time you
Wow.
refresh, there's something new, and it's yeah. So Instagram's unfortunately doing really well. So my brain's just following the attention, which is what it's a new phase of social media art for me. Posting stuff like things are actually getting attention, which never
Mhm.
really happened before. So it's a new phase of things for me that I have to
Right.
adapt to, and I so far am not adapting. Um, so yeah, I've just fallen into that, and only really today and yesterday have I realized, oh, I have a problem. I gotta cut that out. So I
Right. It is
anyway, that's
really,
right.
yeah, that's honestly really tough because, it is part of what you're trying to do for, you know, for better or for worse, almost certainly for worse. That is how you get exposure and how you kind of reach success. So it's not like you're crazy and totally off the wagon. You kind of do need to engage some.
Yeah, I'm getting what I was wishing for, and it's frying my brain. But at the same time, I think like
Yeah.
I'm beginning to combat it, and I I don't know. I guess I could say that and it not be true, but today I feel like I successfully started getting back into drawing where I kind of need to be, and then I've got some days off, and I think I'll be all right. But yeah, I mean, like if my Instagram or YouTube started like super popping off right now, like there's no way I could look away from that. Like
Right.
that's too exciting. Like if either one just like really, really took off, I would be sitting there watching it. So I'm really just kind of at the mercy of my own, social media success, whatever.
I mean, the
Uh,
well, what is a little bit funny about that is, let's say YouTube goes crazy again. Say it like goes more crazy than last time, which is how it tends to work usually. So you get, let's say you get a week or two of things are chill, and then it goes crazy again. What's a little bit funny about that to me is that seeing the success on YouTube or any platform, that's very exciting because it feels like you are achieving some piece of the dream, right? Like you're being met with success, and that's amazing.
mm,
And you're excited because you care about that a lot. If this were, if this were something else that had was no reflection on you, you're just watching a scoreboard for a sports team, you wouldn't care. You care because it's meaningful, it represents something real. But in order to get that success on YouTube, the way to do that is not by staring at your view metrics and just getting a little bit excited and then also kicking up that anxiety, depression underneath the surface that's going to hit you in a couple weeks. The best thing you can do is to focus on the thing that got you to do well on YouTube, which is creating art and talking about it and creating videos. It's funny that that exciting success doesn't seem to really translate into the thing that created the success. It's going into something else.
yeah, it's weird. Now, I will say some of it does translate back. Like comparing now to when I first started doing this, I'm much less afraid of sharing my ideas.
Yeah.
So I have a lot more confidence because people are, thousands of people are saying, "Wow, you're so amazing. You're the best thing ever," whatever.
Yeah.
So there's some level I have more confidence in saying, telling people about my ideas or whatever, or even just showing off my drawings or
Right.
so in that sense, I think it has helped me improve on some things. So there is some amount of it coming back around and driving, being a little bit of a driving force.
Right.
And also the idea of some kind of monetary success in this at all is extremely, extremely exciting. Um, for multiple reasons I shouldn't talk about, but they should be pretty clear. Um,
Oh, we get it.
so yeah, so you know that and and that in itself would be a driving force for more art,
Mhm.
in theory. So there's a lot that I do think comes back around, but the vast majority of it, yeah, it doesn't feed back into the art. So you just get all this attention, and then you realize, oh, 2 weeks have gone by and I haven't really done much at all except look at, you
Yeah.
know, all the people that liked the art I did a month ago. So yeah, I want to talk to some people about like people who are doing something similar and how in the world do they deal with it? Like how do they do the balance? How do
Yeah.
they get that right? Um,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't think you're going to find any answers that are terribly surprising. You know,
right.
the I think you said this last week, or we both said this last week, but it's time to move out of the phase of responding to every single comment and into the phase of
Yeah.
responding to some things. I honestly think there kind of does become this point where seeing a creator respond to every single thing that's said to them starts to feel like the wrong signal. It can just make them feel, I don't know, a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
don't
too
know.
overeager, or I don't think that's the like, obviously it's not the expectation. Most people aren't expecting anytime they comment on something to be responded to directly by the creator. And it doesn't even matter. You just can't do that. So moving out of that phase I think is important. Saying no
Mhm.
matter what you get, and actually this cuts both ways, but you could say I will respond to 2 comments every day or whatever, pick the number you want. It could be 2, it could be 10. But that's all you do. And you don't do more and you also don't do less, which I think is important too, because that, at least for me, tended to be really cyclical where it's like I'd respond to everything and then I respond to nothing and then back and forth. So I think you have to do that. And
Yeah.
then obviously checking the stats and everything all the time is very unhealthy, super unproductive. You need to know how things are doing, but you could literally check once a week for 5 minutes, and that would be like there's no added value to checking more than that, genuinely. It's not going to change the way
Correct.
you think. It's not going to change the lessons learned. That's it. So I don't know. I mean, again, nothing new, but
I guess one of the other problems is that there's my account, which is tied to all of my, perceived success or whatever. But then it's also the same thing I use to watch any other video on the internet,
right.
through YouTube. So there's just so
Right.
many reasons for me to go right back into that. It's not like a thing I can just put away. It's tied to it.
Yeah, you
So
see
I
the
think
blood red number over the bell icon in the top right corner every time
yeah,
you open it, and you can't help but click it. So,
very red.
hmm
um, I guess in a perfect world, I would have someone else, you know, analyze all the stats for me and pay attention to everything, and then they just, like, report to me once a week, like, "Hey, this is what people like and what they're angry at you about, and this is
hmm
how well these videos are doing and why they're doing well," or whatever, like, just, status review
yeah.
once a week, whatever, and then, I respond to that, and that's it, but yeah,
When you're gonna
I
need
don't know,
more money
yeah.
if you want to have an
I'm
employee.
right, right. I'm very thankful that I'm even at this point where I can even call it like a new phase, you know?
hmm
I'm at a different phase where I have to stop responding. That's awesome. So I'm at my own detriment, still very excited about that.
Yeah,
Um, but
I would just
anyway,
say, sorry, closing
go ahead.
thought. You know this, I know this, everyone knows this, but the number one threat by like a factor of 100, like 99 to 1 against the success that you're hoping to have is your own psyche, your emotional and mental balance around this. So the thing that's going to crush all of it is this. It's like spending too much time revving up this side of you too much to where you burn out. For There's lots of different reasons behind that, but all of it contributes. So if you're worried about YouTube or your art being successful, that's the thing that should really make you worried, is you checking it every day, getting obsessed. That's what'll do it.
So that is the conclusion that I came to, and because of that, I think I'm going to not make another video until after January 1st. So for the rest of the year, I just want to do art and that's it. I feel like I've gotten enough out of the YouTube channel. I feel good about it. I just want to
Okay.
work on art for the rest of the year, which is really what I said I would do kind of in one of the videos. Or I said I would try to double the amount of art I have by the end of the year. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
Okay.
And maybe instead of posting every single day on Instagram, I go down to like, 3 or 4 days or something. Uh, I gotta balance that a little bit more. It's kind of funny because 'cause I'm getting a ton of new followers, like, tons. I mean, well, for me, it feels like a whole lot, but I think what's happening because 'cause I'm posting every single day, so I'm kinda just
hmm
cycling through the art that I have and trying to,
Yeah.
come up with new ways to show it, but really it's, and I think my original followers, friends and family, they're liking things less and less because I think they're getting sick of me. Uh, so new people like me, but old people maybe are getting tired of it, which I would too. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
maybe lower that would be good. But it's just easier for me to do it every day than it is to do it like
Yeah.
3 days a week. But Anyway, that's me. I'm gonna do art for the rest of the year. Oh, one last thing for me. Uh, I think I'm going to start a mentorship, uh, being a mentor to someone.
Cool.
They reached out to me from seeing my videos, and I d- people have asked me that before, and I just didn't think that it would. I just didn't think I could actually add any value to them. But this
Hmm.
person, I was like, you know what? I really like their art. I think I see what they, where they're going wrong or how they could be doing a little bit better. And I've been talking back and forth, and we're gonna do a little video call next week. And I'm
Cool.
I'm really excited about starting that. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's pretty exciting. I like that.
I think it'll just be a thing that I maybe do,
Yeah.
like that I have available. But anyway, that's me.
Cool.
Anything for you other than YouTube?
Um, Not especially. I need to gear up for another, bout of writing. I want to write another blog post soon. Trying to decide if that's next week or not. Um,
Make it next week.
yeah, I guess it. Yeah, if I'm gonna do a November post, I guess it has to be. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's next
all
week
right.
then. All right, so I'm doing a blog post next week, so I'll have to do the writing process there. Um, I I tried out a couple like pretty minor things that I've been playing around with this week, but um, one is that I was considering how I have different projects that I have to kind of move between writing for one, working on my projects, and that is kind of broken into several different sub project categories. So they all, in some ways, feel like their own thing. And then I have work and just I have a lot of stuff where I'm constantly splitting my time between different things, and it feels to me like if I have a particular project, like say the writing, for example, if I haven't touched it in a while, it just feels so cold and dead to me that
Mhm.
in the case of writing, it's literally a blank page that I'm staring at, and there's just such an emotional like hill to get over to try and get that going. Right? Imagine it kind of like a fire where the fire is just out. It's like dead, wet ash, and it's so hard to get going again. And if I haven't done anything for a while, then everything feels that way, and it's rough. But if it's something that I have worked on in the past, few days, even if it's been a little bit longer, it still feels like there's something there. Like there's maybe the fire's still like going, but it's smaller, or maybe it's even embers or whatever, but it's like it's much easier to get it going. So I was just thinking about that and trying to view all of my projects that way and trying to think I just want to make sure that I get into all of them in this rotation to where it doesn't feel like I'm cold starting every single time. So I actually spent a day, this was I think a couple weeks ago, because this is when I was writing my last blog post, but I tried a Pomodoro technique that I made up, where I would just do like I started the day and I did one Pomodoro on one thing and then ended, took a break, walked around for a minute, and then did a Pomodoro on the next thing and then the next thing and just like rotated through. I had 3 or 4 different projects that I wanted to get going. And so no matter what, no matter how I felt about it, I just would go through each one over and over in rotation. And starting that process was absolutely brutal. It was, the cold start from nothing 3 or 4 times in a row, which was really difficult. As soon as I felt like I had momentum, I'm going to something else that I don't care about anymore and whatever. But once I got it going, then it felt really good. And I would just kind of rotate through stuff and I'd feel interested and excited every time I got to it. Then I didn't necessarily stick with that exact pattern for the whole week. I was a little bit looser about it where I might work on something for an hour or two and then the next thing. But I really just tried to focus on keeping everything going, and it's been pretty nice. I really feel like I can much more easily move into any one of these things, and it feels fairly comfortable. I'm not trying to, recall a bunch of facts that I barely remember. So that's, I don't know, been kind of a new thing that I've been playing with, and I like it a lot.
That That is a problem that I've dealt with for a long time, or I've always
Mhm.
noticed, or we've talked about before. Um, yeah, I haven't had much success with that. See, when I try to do stuff like that, it like specifically switching from one thing to the next in one day,
Yeah.
I'm great until about the 3rd or 4th one, and then I'm just done. Like, I run out of mental
Yeah.
discipline to be able to pull myself out of that and go to the next thing. And so then I'm just stuck
Yeah.
with that one for the rest of the day.
I
That's
found it
how I've
very
always done it.
difficult. Yeah. I mean, I don't like I said, it was a little bit less rigid as I went on, mostly because it was so hard to switch out of something once I had the momentum. But part of what motivated it too was I one day I just sat down to kind of review some work I had done the day before, and I'm looking at some problem. I can't remember what it was, but it was just one of those moments where I'm just thinking, I spent probably almost 2 hours on something. And the second I sat down, I'm just like, you're a moron. This was obvious. Like just it was such a clear, obvious solution to a problem that I just saw immediately, like within seconds, versus me just beating my head against the wall for an hour or two the day before because I was just like so hyper
Right.
focused. I couldn't see couldn't see the forest for the trees, couldn't see the big picture. And I just know that, like, that's, we've talked about it 1,000 times. I know that about myself. It's great to get focused, but you get too focused and then you can't see anything else. And it's just like, what happened? And I was so annoyed at that. And I was just thinking, man, I would have more time or like have more productive time if I just didn't do that. And so part of the rotating from one thing to another was also partly to solve that problem, where it's not just getting the fire going, it's not letting the fire get so hot that it burns you or what. I don't know. This is a dumb metaphor, but
No,
it's
no, it's
just
a
like
good
both sides of
metaphor.
it, you know?
It is a good metaphor, and I mean, you have to also I guess you're saying it's not the case, but you also have to wonder, is it better to just make the fire really, really hot and burn through the problem and solve it and then go to the next one instead of moving from one thing to the next? And this is very prevalent to me or whatever in
Yeah.
doing the drawings, doing the stories, doing the YouTube videos, I don't know, exercising, eating right, whatever, like switching from one thing to the next, the different mind states, it's really, really hard for me to keep them all up.
Hmm.
Like, and so I have found the 2 weeks swapping. So 2 weeks of drawing, 2 weeks of YouTube videos, whatever. And I'm not too rigid on that, but it, it's drawing, then YouTube video back and forth. That has been the best that I've been able to do it, rather than drawing for half the day and then YouTube
Hmm.
video the other half. Or really, it's drawing for an hour in the morning and then YouTube video for like an hour at night. That's a little bit harder to do than 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So, but
It's one
in
week on,
theory,
1 week off, right? It's not.
no, well, it's usually 2 weeks of 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So 2 weeks drawing, 2 weeks video,
Okay. I thought it was one
whatever.
on one. Okay.
It's been pretty loose. Or, but it's still been like black and white. I'm working on a drawing right now. Next, I'm working on a video, and I don't start the video until I finish the drawing and
Yeah.
vice versa. That's been the best way, but every single time it's hard to get back into the drawing, or it's hard to get back into the video mind. Um, so I don't know that, but then you think, and it's kind of annoying, but you think about like, CEOs of giant companies or whatever. They work on tons of different things, lots of different subject matters or topic switches or whatever, different,
Yeah.
I don't know, industries, products, whatever, different complicated, massive, you know, problems. And they switch from one thing to the next. You have a meeting about, one thing, and then you got a meeting about totally different thing. And that's just part of your day. And I like that.
Yeah.
I, I'm drawn to that, but it's hard to do that for yourself. But yeah. Okay, well, keep me updated on that because I'm very, very interested in it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of newer. It's just a thing that I hadn't thought about in those terms so much. And I'm still trying to play around with what feels the best or makes the most sense. But at the very least, trying to just make sure that for any of the active things that I care about, making sure I spend some amount of time on it within, for me at least, a few days, a week at the most, probably, just to make sure that I still feel that emotional investment into it, I think is what I'm aiming for. So
Yeah.
there's also something kind
Okay.
of interesting about that rotating Pomodoro thing, even just for the day or two that I did it, where it kind of prevents you from really thinking about the big picture of a project, which in this case is a good thing, where you just can't really develop that much investment of, oh man, am I going to have this feature done by the end of today, or how long is it going to take me to
Right.
do all these things? Like you just have a half hour to work on it, so you just work on it, and then you have to work on something else. It feels like you're just not, you're not seeing a project like move along quickly. You might only be spending a few pomodoros on it during a day, but there's something about that that is nice. You're just there to work. You don't have to think about that much. You just do whatever is on the list. Anyway, yeah, I'll let you
Yeah.
know.
I like that a lot.
Maybe you should try it
Okay.
for like one day or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah. I my problem is not having full days, but
Well,
yeah,
right. Or I
when
don't
I
know, maybe a
do.
Saturday or something.
I've also just recently started using Pomodoro again because I've realized that, oh my God, I'm very good at wasting time. Like I'm so good at wasting time when I'm not on the clock. So
Yeah.
in the last week or so, I've really started using Pomodoro again, and um,
I
it
have to
feels good.
say, yeah, I know I'm always fiddling around with something for, productivity or blocking YouTube on my router and that kind of thing. But I made that little program where it starts a Pomodoro, and then after 25 minutes it locks my computer, and it shows me this screen where it tells me how many Pomodoros I've done for the day. It shows me how many I've done for the year, which is kind of an interesting thing to be hit with. And then it just starts like a timer where, it just tells me how long the screen has been locked for. And after 3 to 5 minutes, I try to unlock it. And I can enter my administrator password and unlock it. So it's not impossible to get around, but it's a long, annoying password. So it's not like something I do thoughtlessly. But then once I type in the password and unlock it, it doesn't just let me in. It gives me a menu and it says, "Do you want to start the next Pomodoro or whatever?" So if I hit yes, it starts the next one. So I never have to remember to start it or stop it. That all just happens. It's just kind of chained together where once one starts, then it gives me the menu for the next one. And also, it's just this jarring screen lock. It's not a timer that goes off that you flip over and then ignore and you wait an extra 5 minutes. Just boom. It feels like somebody slapping your laptop lid closed. Again, I've goofed around with lots of stuff, but I've been using that for at least 6 months, probably more. And it's one of those things where I'm like, this is great. I can't believe I used to not use this. It helps so much.
Is this a thing you created?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a
Yeah.
lot to it, but yes. Yeah, it's not a program you can go get.
I hate it when you talk about cool stuff that isn't available.
I
You should,
the
yeah. Let's do this thing that works super well that you can't have.
Well, look, if
Um,
everyone was on Linux, then I would give it to everyone. But you all use crappy operating systems for very good reasons. I'm not saying you should switch, but if you're in the garden, you're in the garden. I can't help you.
Fair enough. I'm in the garden. Okay. Well, you want to wrap that up? Wrap this up?
Sure. Well, so what happens next week? What are
Next
what are
week,
our goals?
I just dig into the art like I did today.
Okay.
It felt really good. I just work on art and write stuff and,
Can you
start what?
can you give us something concrete for your Instagram thing?
Um, I I kind of started a challenge with my friends to go a month with posting every single day. So I'm not gonna lower that right now. Uh, but
That's
that'll probably be like
fine.
halfway through December.
Yeah.
So it'll still be every day. But for using it, the difficulty with uh, it's hard. It's hard to come up with a concrete. like, I can't use it because I need to post every day, so I need it on my phone. And I could, download it, post something, download Instagram, post on Instagram, then delete it and just be done with it. The difficulty is that every time I do that, I forget to turn back on upload at full media quality, and I upload another picture that's low quality. And it fucking drives me absolutely insane,
Yeah.
and so I'm afraid to delete it. However,
Do
we could.
do you
The
have
other thing we did was like
more than one
phone plugged in.
phone? Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about that. I was like, what if I got a second phone, specifically just for uploading to social media? And I really like that idea,
I think you
and
should.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Buy
Yeah,
used one, whatever, you know?
yeah. And I don't need a SIM card, right? I can just
No,
do.
no. How do you get
Okay,
like are you taking a photo on your phone and then uploading it?
usually, yeah.
So you would take a photo with
Sometimes
this
I do
phone
that.
and upload it? I guess
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Your photo should
Well,
sync through
sometimes I
iCloud
use
or
like,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I could just AirDrop it or something, right?
Yeah, or it yeah, or your iCloud photo thing. It doesn't matter. It'll get to your other phone one way or another for sure. Should be
Okay,
fine.
I really like that idea, and I
I
was
think you
thinking about.
totally should.
Okay, very cool. Okay, and what about you? Concrete things?
I gotta write a blog. I'm going to change my YouTube, my unfiltered YouTube access to just 1 day a week instead of the whole weekend, so I can use it on Saturdays, but not Sundays. And I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay,
I'm really liking my, withdrawal from Reddit. That's been I don't think I've been on Reddit for other than a
keep it
couple
that way.
tiny times. I know, and I will tell you if I do, but I haven't been on it in about a month, beyond maybe 2 minutes in the last month. Both of those minutes I told you about. YouTube has been, like I said, I care more about YouTube. I'm not trying to cut it off entirely. I'm just trying to
Yeah, yeah.
get the good parts. And that feels like it's working. Super happy about that. Actually, early this week on Tuesday evening or something, I was just like, what do I do? There's nothing to do. I didn't really want to watch TV. So I got on my one wheel. It was night and I didn't want to ride on the road. So I just got on my one wheel. I put on these little bone conduction headphones that could fit under my helmet. And then I went to this school down the street and I just rode little circles in the basketball court. It was night. It was, super quiet, nobody there. I'm just like twirling around for like 2.5 hours listening to an audiobook. And it was amazing. I felt
Awesome.
so, yeah. I'm like, why am I not doing this?
Today I went for a run, and
Nice.
really my runs turn into these really long run walk, like 2 hour, sometimes 3 hour long, just me
Wow.
out in the on the path, on the bike path. And today I forgot my headphones. And because I usually listen to music, and it's wonderful and beautiful, and sometimes I'll just listen to music and write, like, on my Google Docs, just write my
Nice.
stories. That seems to be the best way to do it, but today I forgot the headphones. I was like, "I'm just gonna leave my phone behind," not use Nike Run or whatever, and
Yeah.
just so I just went out into the world without the phone for a good, like, two and
Wild.
a half hours, and it was, as expected, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Amazing. Cool.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all.
So that's what we'll do next week. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Let us know if you have any goals for next week. But we will talk to you next week.